bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the
The film's called Found, and my name's Leya Taylor, and I was co-producer and director of photography.
And I'm Scott Schirmer. I directed and edited the film. I co-wrote it with Todd Rigney, who wrote the novel it's based on. I work at Assisted Self-Publishing Company, where Todd published the book, and I need book covers to put in all the marketing I do for them. And there's a lot of self-help and feel-good, spiritual poetry, recipe books that are published. Not very many horror novels. So this black cover with a skull on it really stood out. And I looked up the galley, and the first line was the same one in the movie. My brother keeps a human head in his closet, so I couldn't put it down. As soon as I finished it, I was like almost hyperventilating. I wanted to make it into a movie so bad, and thank God he was just really cool and let us. Pre-production, how long? Forever?
Pre-production was almost a year. Filming was 30 days spread out over 8 months. There's a scene where the lead boy is watching a horror movie, and it's kind of graphically violent. Not kind of, it is graphically violent in a lot of ways. And then later at the end of the movie, some more violent stuff happens, and we chose not to show all of that violent stuff just because we kind of felt that it was already touched upon in Headless, and that it would be way scarier for people watching it to imagine in their head what was happening as opposed to us showing it to them, especially since we just showed stuff that was similar thematically in a violent way earlier in the movie, so they'd be imagining that while the end was happening.
I just have to thank Todd Rigney for writing all of that, because I know that if I had done it, I would have put way too fine a point on all of those issues. And I love the topic of bullying. Todd and I were both bullied as kids growing up, as have been most of us. But Todd was able to just weave all of these things together without ever being preachy about it, and just kind of throwing things out on the table for discussion or to think about it. So we really related with the coming of age part, and the brotherly love thing was the heart of the whole movie. So that had to be there. But then it also deals with, are horror movies bad for kids? And there's some homophobia in the film, and there's racism in the film. I mean, there was just so many things swimming around in it. It just made it so provocative and appealing to us. By all counts, he really loves it. He's really happy and proud of the movie. I don't know if he would ever tell me if he was really upset with anything, but he sure seems to be extremely happy with it.
Ethan Philbeck is the actor who we got to play Steve, the older brother, and he is a very talented stage actor based out of Bloomington. He's done a lot of work. He's probably been in 30 or 35 productions, and he's only like 21 or 22. 22 now. He was 21 when we filmed. But anyway, he's a very, very good actor, and it was really funny actually, because while we were filming, he was also doing a kids play at the same time, where he dressed up like a duck, and it was like totally, little kid play, and so he would, yeah, that's what it's called, and he would go from being dressed up like a duck to being Steve in the film, which is, horrible.
And then our littlest actor, Gavin Brown, was 12 when we met him. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard to cast a movie like this, so we didn't do cattle calls, because we just knew, living in Indiana, more than half the kids and the families you'd get, they were not going to want to see that script. So we had a woman named Sheila Butler, who had worked with a lot of children's theater, actually do some targeted casting for us, and she knew which families and children would be receptive to the material.
Yeah.
So she helped us find Gavin, and Gavin had never acted before, but we took a leap of faith with him, and he showed us pretty early on that he was willing to go there and run the mile and do his best, and he did.
In the Baker's Junction scene, the train scene, there is like this creepy little baby in a jar kind of a thing, and he sculpted that and made that. Yeah, he outdid himself this time, especially with the heads. He actually had to think a lot about that, about the different types of heads, because that's a line in the script about how, those heads look so fake, So he used different materials to make the two different kinds of heads so that they look different. He did a fantastic job. And then Shane also, he did special effects as well, and he also played the headless killer. So he did both. It's been absolutely incredible being here at the New York City Horror Film Festival. I don't know, it's our first time in New York City, and it's just an amazing experience, an amazing place, and really awesome people that run it. And I don't know, it's been really cool to meet other filmmakers and talk to them, and kind of get to network with them, and and kind of build friendships and people that we'll be able to work with in the future. It's really neat.
We've seen some filmmakers we already knew, and we're meeting new filmmakers that we hadn't met before. This venue at Tribeca Cinemas has great projection and sound.
Gorgeous. It really
And
is.
I got to finally meet Alan Rowe Kelly and Bart and some people that I've heard a lot about over the years, but I never actually got to meet face to face. And New York, never been here before, is a perfect reason to come here. And Ronnie, I wanted to thank Ronnie Hine for continuing the festival in the tradition that her son started. I think it's really a great thing to do.
My name's Leya Taylor, and I'm here at the New York City Horror Film Festival.
And I'm Scott Schirmer, and I'm also here at the New York City Horror Film Festival.
Let the bodies hit the floor!